Thank you to everyone that sent me support and encouragement from my last video. Every little bit of help makes a big difference in my life. I want to start back with a video more about a forest from the trees look at mental health as it currently exists. I'm using the metaphor of levers and dials versus boxes. We currently have a system of trying to fit people into neat little boxes with a typed out legible and definitive label taped on the top. In bold all caps letters, ADHD, CPTSD, DID, etc. You are this is you. It's my personal belief that in the future we as a species will move away from boxes and more into levers and dials, seeing everything as a series of spectrums. Before I explain what I mean, first let me talk about why we use a box approach and its pros and cons. Our current system is based on the idea that a person can be assessed and then placed into a box. They can be classified and identified. Then an appropriate set of therapies can be administered to treat them. This, I think, stems from an attempt to try to bring in a more scientific approach or appearance to the field. In medicine, a doctor could see a person is in pain. They complain of pain in their arm. The doctor sees the arm is bent in an unusual way. They order an X-ray, and the test shows that the bone is broken. They then reset the bone, put the patient into a cast, and after a set amount of time, they remove the cast and declare the patient healed. Psychology and psychiatry try to emulate this approach with less success. The problem is that there are no tests that definitively show a person has this or that diagnosis. Everything is based on what the client self-reports and the therapist interprets from that. It's like an untrained person reaches into a sack, and without looking, they describe the contents of what they feel. Then the other person writes down what they think the person is actually touching. But is the patient good at describing things? Are they describing all the things? Is the therapist interpreting any of it correctly? Are they educated on these items? Do they draw correct connections to the relationship between the items? And so on. This system also exists because of insurance and a profit-driven healthcare system, but I won't go into that in this video. Simply put, the insurance company wants a label, and your level of care is based on that label. Can labels be useful? Yes. They can help steer people to information. If your therapist labels you with CPTSD, then you can find books to educate yourself on the subject. You can find videos like I have on my channel. You can find online support groups and forums with like-minded people. The problem with a box or a definitive label is what if you don't fit inside it neatly? You might dismiss your symptoms and problems entirely, or you might try to change or add problems you don't have in order to fit the criteria. This needlessly puts people in a position where they are not getting the help they really need. It means the person with a broken arm dismisses it as a sore muscle and doesn't get help. Or it means a person with a sore muscle needlessly wears a cast for several months because they thought it was broken. So this brings us to my idea of levers and dials. Imagine the console of the old Starship Enterprise NCC-1701. It had all these blinking lights, silver metallic dials you can twist left or right, and colorful levers that could be slid up or down. This is how I perceive the human experience. We all have the same levers and dials, but they are not all in the same levels. Most people have their settings at a pretty similar level, and society functions because of this. It's designed to work within parameters that most people can tolerate. As a related aside, what is mental illness except a state of being where your levers and dials cause you distress, pain, or an inability to function in society in a useful way. Some people do have dials set to unusual levels, but it's to their advantage. They may understand coding really well and get a decent paying job. They may be really confident and be able to rise in society despite any negative feedback. It's only when these dials cause problems that they are a problem. So if I could magically change the current norms, I would switch us to a levers and dials system of diagnosis. Now you could have some traits that fall in ADHD, like executive dysfunction, and traits from CPTSD, like social anxiety, triggers from loud noises, but you wouldn't need to fit into any of them. You essentially have individual, specific diagnosis that is centered on the person, not a box to fit them in. In this system, you wouldn't need catch-all or overflow diagnosis like OSDD. You could just really zone in on a person's specific flavor of dissociation. This approach also encapsulates the entirety of life: social, financial, diet, genetics, etc., since all these things play a role in how a person feels and perceives themselves. All these things are their own levers and dials, all play a role in how the person feels and acts. I'll speak more on this in its own video, but sometimes a person that seems hopeless and untreatable could actually do significantly better if they just had a friend and a safe place to live. Those two changes could do more in days than 30 years of therapy alone. So until we get to the point in our various mental health fields, I think we as individuals can better serve ourselves to worry less about trying to fit in a box and focus more on the big picture, to see how the trees form a forest, and then zoom in to see how this area has more oak trees, or this one more pine. I hope this video was useful to you. If you want to support me making more videos like this, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee page in a link below. There are free ways you can help as well: liking this video, subscribing to my channel, or recommending this to others is a big help. Thank you, and I hope we all find ways to better heal and have a satisfying life.